About 10 o'clock this morning, I was laying in my bed and I heard a big boom. So I jumped out of my bed because I knew it was a gunshot. It happened all the time in this neighborhood. And I looked out my window. I saw a man laying on the ground. There was a couple of people already there, but me and my son, we rushed out the house. And the man was laying, he was shot in his back on the ground saying, "I'm shot, I'm shot."
Wow, that's Priscilla McMiller. She heard the gunshots. Do you live near 65th and Hermitage? Did you see anything? A UPS driver was shot today just trying to get the package to you. What can Brown do for you? Nothing if you're trying to hijack the truck. Give me a call, 630-575-TALK. I've got Dr. Alfred Tatum with me from the University of Illinois. This sense of vulnerability, before I go to phones, Dr. Tatum, seems to be a huge issue because I've taught for 17 years, and I noticed that around the middle school, late elementary to the middle school years is when some boys start to tune out and they want some sort of outlet through aggression or violence. So you see some accessing that through either video games or through sports. But when you have children that don't have an outlet, sometimes they resort to violence. I mean, how do we get to those children, Dr. Tatum?
Yeah, I think that's a dangerous comparison because our children can do all of those things, but they're often placed against one another. But what young folks are really asking for is give me something that's meaningful and give me something that's significant. But the way we think about schooling and literacy, we've missed the mark on both of those because we failed to shape it in a way that pays attention to kids' day-to-day realities. Simply, we focus more on reading and writing scores, which is okay, but we fail to score with reading and writing. And that's when young folks find things meaningful and significant, and that's when they begin to make different types of decisions.
So when the curriculum pertains to the child as opposed to excluding the child, you've got a much better chance.
Oh, absolutely. But you also have to have a caring, committed educator who accepts no excuses for advancing the literacy development of our young folks.
There we go. Let me go to phones, Dr. Tate. I'm going to Abdullah first. Abdullah,
Sure.
Thanks for calling Garrard McClendon Live. What's your comment, Abdullah?
I would like to comment about, is it poverty or ignorance? I believe it's more so poverty because people who do not have money are more likely to steal. If I do not have money to eat, and I'm going to get up in the morning and look about some way to figure out how am I going to get some money. These people are doing this to survive.
Yeah.
Some people rob and steal just to live.
Yeah.
We stay in a city where there's no jobs for individuals. There's no education. There's no way out.
Yeah.
What else is there for a person to do? People have to be careful. We are living in a crazy days. If you don't watch yourself, this can happen to anybody.
Wow.
Everybody, even me, even you.
Abdullah, I appreciate the phone call. Dr. Tatum, he's saying that if you live in poverty, you pretty much going to become a stick-up kid. I mean, I don't necessarily buy that, though, Dr. Tatum.
I'm going to put it this way. You can have a short-term burger or a long-term book. And what I mean by that, we've always been a people who have suffered from some economic poverty. So what we've gone wrong, money is not the great equalizer, it's literacy. Because we have those short-term gains, but literacy gives us the long-term rewards. So when we're supporting young people, that's what I mean when you're vulnerable, we have to give them a reason to hold on and to hold out. Now, when a child is hungry, I can understand that that's a pain associated with that. But again, we have to keep our eye on the prize. Literacy is the great equalizer in the United States.
Yeah, truly, truly. Let me get to another phone call. Keith, thanks for calling Garrard McClendon Live. Keith, what is your comment?
Yes, how are you today?
Pretty good.
My condolences goes out to all the families, to the UPS, and everybody over the weekend violence since this stuff happened. Well, number one thing to me, it is ignorance through the state legislators and the rest of these people that is not allowing people to protect themselves. I'm not going to ever say because the southern states has more poverty than the northern states do, and those people they go hunting. They have their shotguns in the back of their. You don't have the things that's going on where you have a group of people that takes over complete neighborhoods. It is ignorance with our state legislators. It's ignorance with the people that sit and talk and say. Because of poverty, I mean, poverty is stricken throughout the world. I mean, I wasn't born into what you call a rich environment.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm not going to say because, I don't have those Air Force Ones and these on. I'm going out to jack somebody.
Yeah.
So it is the legislature. It's time for the people of Chicago to be able to protect themselves. You're right. These people need, and I'm one myself. I'm not a felon. I'm not none of that. But I need myself. I'd rather get caught with it than without it.
Woo!
'Cause these
Conceal and
people
carry.
are-
Hey, Keith. Hey, Keith. Thanks for the call, Keith. It looks like Keith believes in that Second Amendment, Dr. Tatum, but he is right about not resorting to crime, criminal activity, shooting people just because you may not have a little change in your pocket.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great tension. I mean, I have the same tensions that Keith has. What do I do? How do I protect myself and protect my family? But in the long term, we have to think about avoiding sacrificing the lives of so many others because we have a lot of innocent young brothers being caught up in this.
Right.
So it's hard to pick and choose which one. So I think there are multiple solutions to this,
Yeah.
but literacy is one of those primary solutions because we have to begin to think about this in ways that make the most sense for us that we can begin to rally our energy around.
Dr. Alfred Tatum, hold tight. You know, the UPS worker that was shot, he is currently in critical condition in the hospital. We do send our prayers to that individual. Gangster's Paradise, Southside wannabe mobsters tried to rob the UPS man today. This is worse than the movie Straight Outta Brooklyn. You know, the economy, unemployment, educational opportunities are bad when you stoop to take unlabeled packages from the UPS man. Can Inglewood eradicate violence or just manage it? Call me, 630-575-TALK. Garrard McClendon Live continues. 2 minutes.